Hi, Simon Jacobson here for another episode of Meaningful Live. Happy Mother's Day, and fittingly, let's talk about for the love of a mother. Yes, for the love of a mother. The very word mother conjures up so many emotions and feelings. For many of us, very beautiful, warm. Sometimes we can't even fully express what motherly love is about and what a mother meant to us and continues to mean. For others, there are also painful memories. People who have difficulty with their mother relationships, and that has impacted them in many different ways. But regardless, nobody is neutral about their mother. It reminds me these three elderly women sitting and comparing notes about their loving children. They're sitting on the beach, and one woman says, "My son, when I turned 80, he brought the entire family down here to Miami Beach. We spent the entire week together. Beautiful." The next woman says, "My son, when I turned 80, took us all for a safari in South Africa for a month. That's a son." And the third woman looks at both of them with a certain compassion and even condescension. And she says, "My son, he's a high-powered attorney in New York. He's one of the most successful business people. He goes to his therapist 3 times a week, spends top dollar, and all he talks about is his mother, me." So mothers are deep in our psyches, deep in our consciousness, deep in our superconsciousness and subconscious. Hopefully for the best, but sometimes it comes with other experiences as well. So being Mother's Day, which always, in my mind, had conflicting feelings about it. Because on one hand, the power of a mother, especially a healthy, nurturing, loving mother, that unconditional love, shouldn't just be celebrated once a year. It should be celebrated every day, every moment. Okay, but still, our culture, our society, at least honors it once a year. But the truth is, the message is one for every second of our lives. So let's begin with the most obvious, or maybe not so obvious. Each of us, no matter who you are, no matter what kind of mother you have, spent 9 months residing somewhere. Where was our residence? Within our mother's womb. We had no other life, completely submerged in the embryonic fluids, protected, nurtured, fed, sustained, grow, shaped for 9 months. And even when we emerge and the umbilical cord is cut, in the most healthy scenario, the mother continues to embrace, to cradle, to nurse, to nurture, to look at her child. That eyes, that gaze. When a mother meets the first time her child and they look at each other, there's something about it that is just beyond words. The connection. So it brings up a verse. I want to read with you a verse. Let's read it together. It's from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 14 through 16. We'll read it in the loose English translation. "So says the Lord, so says God, a voice is heard on high, lamentation, bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children, for they are gone, for they are not there." And you can't comfort her. She's weeping for her children. And God now replies, "So says the Lord, refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears. He's talking to the mother. For there is reward for your work, says the Lord, and they shall come back from the land of the enemy. That the children are not gone, they will return. And finally, and there is hope for your future, says God, says the Lord, and the children shall return to their own land, to their own border. This captures the essence of what a mother is all about. That there's a mother always weeping, always caring. Hopefully not just tears of sadness, but tears of joy. There's someone watching, day and night, 24/7. This is the quintessential, the healthy mother. And if we were lacking that in our lives, for whatever reason, an absentee mother, a dysfunctional one, that also is very profound because that's what we need. So this conversation here is no matter what kind of mother you've had in your life, if you are blessed with there's no such thing as a perfect mother, but a healthy, nurturing one, or for whatever reason your mother was not there, didn't know better, but we all deserve that mother, and therefore we all reach out because the mother represents that absolute and unconditional love and weeps for the child is not there, but then is comforted and consoled. Even when it says the mother is not comforted, no, the children will return. Reminds me of a story of a boy that was estranged from his family, from his parents, from his mother. Without going into all the details, he ended up leaving home and went off on his journey. And no matter what the parents did to try to reconcile, to try to welcome him back, it didn't work. And of course, as a mother, a true, dedicated mother, every day she hoped, she waited, but nothing happened. Years passed. And one day, miraculously, this boy who's no longer a boy, an adult, shows up. You can't imagine the joy. And as he walks into the house, he smells something that reminds him of his young childhood. He smells fresh cinnamon buns, which he loved as a child. You know, it has that smell. But it was more than that. It represented the loving mother who would make him these cinnamon buns since he was a baby, even long before his memories. And he just can't believe it. He says to his mother, "How did you know I was coming? I didn't give you any notice. It's been years." And his mother looks at him with the loving eyes and gaze of a mother. She said, "I've been making these cinnamon buns every day in the hope that you would walk through that door." This is what we deserve and hopefully have in a mother. It's really beyond words. You know, when you hear stories, tragically an autistic child is born. And the doctors tell the mother, this child you will never have a relationship with. It's just not possible. So either give the child away to a home or someone that can watch the child, but you're not going to have a relationship. And the mother says, I don't accept that. And the mother in her own way continues to do whatever she can to connect. And then you hear, years later, doctors do not understand it. There's a connection. No, the child not necessarily miraculously healed, but don't ever think there's no connection, because there's a soul in that child and there's a soul in the mother, and they were one, and they continue to be one. So never give up, never think, scientific, mathematical, statistic-wise. Love is not bound by statistics. There are deeper things at work. And you see that. We will never understand the mystery of what happens in the bonding during pregnancy when a child is developing. From one cell, mind you, developing into what will be hopefully a healthy, full-blown child that will emerge upon birth. And the magic that happens when a mother cuddles her child. And the magic that happens when a mother weeps for her child. So she weeps. And what the Lord is saying, what God is saying, is never ever give up. The connection is there. For those of us that have not had it, we know in a perverse and in a converse way, we know what's lacking. It's like when you don't have oxygen, you feel something missing. What's missing is that nurturing mother. But even there's hope. Because what the verse in Jeremiah says is not just to the mother, it's also to the children. Know that even if you didn't have a physical, biological mother, you still can build it because there's something inside your soul that can mother you. Just like there's the inner child, there's the inner mother. So on a day like this, when we talk about a mother, we're really talking about that mysterious and profound connection that shapes the very being of who we are. And when it's lacking, it has profound impact on how we will love others. Because what happens when that gaze, what is the mother conveying to the child? That I love you unconditionally. I will always be there for you. I will protect you. I will help you spread your wings, help you blossom. I will never get in the way. I will not suffocate you. I will nurture you. And that imbues and instills in the child profound confidence to be comfortable in his or her own skin. So then, when the child grows older, the child in turn will trust, because the child trusts that love and knows it deserves to be loved. So when we honor a mother, we're honoring life itself. Indeed, using the early verses of the Bible in Genesis, Chava, or Eve. Why was she called Chava? That's the Hebrew. Because Aim Kol Chai, Chava comes from the word life. She's the mother of life. She's the mother of life. Not just physically and biologically, but life and love are synonymous, and the first place we experience love will be from our mothers. Now, this does not take away from our father's connection, the father's love, and that deserves its own discussion. We're talking about the mother of life, the mother that is always there. And indeed, talk about Rachel weeping for her children. There's another beautiful story that Jacob, who had married Rachel and loved Rachel dearly, she died in childbirth after she gave birth to Benjamin. And this was on the road. So Jacob buried her in Bethlehem, Beis Lechem, where now you can see Rachel's tomb is still there, off the road. And listen to this. Then later the Bible tells us that Jacob is telling his son Joseph, who was the son of Rachel, after I pass away, make sure you take me from Egypt back to Israel, to Hebron. Please bury me where my parents are buried, Isaac and Rebekah, and where my grandparents are buried, Abraham and Sarah, all the way back to Adam and Eve. What's called the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. Kiryat Arba, that's why it's called the city of four, because there are four couples there. Adam and Eve, Abraham, Jacob, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. What happened with Rachel? So he tells Joseph, even though I did not do that dignity to your mother, I'm asking you to take me back to Hebron. Why didn't I bury your mother in Hebron? I buried on the road. I want you to know, because that's what she wanted. Because she's the quintessential mother that cries for her children. Because Rachel saw into the future that after the destruction of the temple, when her children, her grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be exiled and expelled from the land, they will be traveling on that road out of Jerusalem. And she wants to be as close as possible to her children. She weeps for her children and she's not comforted. In Hebron, it's a little far away from the road. She wants to be on the road. So when the children leave, even the darkest moments, they see that I'm there for you. That's why I buried her there. There's something unbelievable about the sacrifices that a mother makes. Things we can't even notice, things we don't remember. I go back, my earliest memories. You remember certain episodes, but what about all those that you don't remember? The nights that your mother is up, the efforts, the sacrifices, the prices. All that is part of this honoring. And that's why honoring your mother and your father is more than honoring human beings. Because all parents are flawed. You're honoring life. You're honoring love. And you're honoring God, who too is like a mother to each of us. That unconditional love. Unconditional. We live in a world where we can call it a hostile world, a dark world. And even when you get love, it's often conditional with strings attached. You do this for me, I'll do this for you. But imagine what we would be like if we were surrounded all the time with unconditional love, no strings attached. What does it do for our psyche? What does it do for the human being? Beyond wonders. It makes you feel like you belong. You're connected. And indeed brings us back to that experience of being completely submerged in another person's embrace. In turn, allowing us to embrace others unconditionally. On a Kabbalistic level, mother is often referred to in the sporadic structure to Bina. Bina. Chachma is the spark of an idea, Bina is development. Development is the expansiveness, like the womb that submerges us, that surrounds us, and gives birth to human emotions. Where the children, the offspring, are our feelings, and Bina is what nurtures and produces them. So in the Kabbalistic terms, the idea is that before the emotions emerge, they are within the pregnancy, within the womb of Bina, of our minds, that protects, nurtures, cultivates, and allows those flowers, the flowers that define the human being, our emotional structure, to be secure, uninhibited, without fear, solid foundation of feeling that I belong. So on this Mother's Day, as I said earlier, really it's every day of the year. Let us honor the mother in our lives. And for those whose mother was not there, let us honor the mother we should have had. And the mother that we could have. Through our work, we can find that connection. It can sometimes come through friends and through others. It can come from God. It can come from anything that gives you and validates you and accepts you entirely. Therefore, it's so sad when you hear about those witchy mothers that people describe. Mother always criticized me, made me feel guilty. Mothers with neurosis, mothers with all their tantrums. Because that's not really what a mother is. They've wandered away and betrayed their most important feature, which is the love that they should be giving. So we feel sad for mothers like that. But we are never, at the end of the day, victims. It may be challenging, so we have to create some bypass surgery, metaphorically speaking, to find that love, to find that unconditional love. And to know that there's someone there that's baking your cinnamon buns every day, whether you're aware of it or not. And as soon as you wake up and you reconnect, you smell the aroma, which comes with all the love and care and all the tears and laughter that a true mother offers. So on this Mother's Day, I wish upon each of us, those of us that are mothers, to have true joy and true satisfaction. What we call nachas. When we look at our children, especially children as they grow into adults and become mothers and parents of their own, to the mothers and to the rest of us who are children. No matter how old you are, you're always a child of a mother and a father, to honor that. And yes, and perhaps make a phone call, make a connection, just to say thank you. It can be very humble, it can be very simple. And those of us that perhaps have been estranged and disconnected, maybe it's an opportunity. Obviously, only in a way that doesn't hurt you. An opportunity to always know there's hope. Exactly as the Lord said, as we read before. Refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for there's reward for your work. The work will bear fruit, and they shall come back from the land of the enemy. The enemy are all the toxins and all the traumas and all the suffering, psychological, emotional, physical, spiritual, the wanderings, the betrayals, the violations, but will come back because the love is deeper than any disconnect. And that's why Rachel is right there, weeping for her children. Hopefully tears of joy, but in times where there may be pain and hurt, the mother is there crying with us. Nothing more powerful when a mother cradles us and comforts us, even for small matters, and definitely for big ones. So may we connect to our mothers, may they connect to us in this total reunion and reconnection, the integration. So though we become independent individuals and the umbilical cord has been cut, that doesn't mean the love has been cut. It's just on the contrary. In our individuality, in our uniqueness, we have all that unconditional love. So happy Mother's Day to all. I hope these words are experienced the way they were intended, words from the heart and to the heart. And this class indeed is dedicated to all the incredible women in our lives. Dedicated to all the incredible women in our lives. Mothers, potential mothers, children, and mothers alike. Be blessed. May we embrace the love in our lives. May it grow. May we focus not on fighting demons, but are bringing motherly, unconditional, nurturing love into our own lives and to everyone we meet. Thank you very much. Simon Jacobson here, Meaningful Life Center, meaningfullife.com. Please check out our website, check out our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our growing YouTube channel. Please share this with anyone you see fit. And I'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your comments, your questions, your suggestions, your critique. Be well and happy Mother's Day. Thank you.